Hello, my friends, and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I felt called to do a reading about what you need to know about love, what advice you need about love. So we're just going to jump right in. I felt called to use this deck. And I was hearing that someone asked for advice. So maybe you recently asked your spirit guides or you asked the powers that be for some advice about love. So we're going to see what you need to hear today. Round and round is flipped over. So you could be experiencing some sort of pattern or cycle, or you could be repeating some sort of pattern or cycle, or maybe you're in a connection that just seems to, there's some sort of cycle that keeps going round and round, but we'll see what comes out. So I have a few decks that we're going to get advice for you from. We have the Fates, and one of the things this card says is this connection is indeed fated. That's interesting. So it does seem like you're dealing with some sort of fated connection. There could also be some sort of truth coming towards you, because I just noticed truth be told. So there could be some sort of truth coming towards you, or maybe maybe you need to be honest with yourself about this connection. And we have flexible. And one of the things the flexible card talks about is stubbornness could be keeping you in a state of rigidity. So maybe you're being, how can I put that? Well, you could be experiencing some stubbornness, or maybe the person you're connected to is quite stubborn. One of the other things that card talks about is this person may differ from your usual type and expectations. So maybe this is the type of connection or a person you never saw yourself being with. And we have orphaned and community. That orphaned card, you could be dealing with feelings of rejection. Or this could have been someone that rejected you, and maybe there's about to be a truth spoken. But let's see what comes out. That's just the energy that I was picking up on during the shuffle. We have unfinished symphony. So it feels like something feels unfinished here. And keep in mind, we had that fated card. This connection is indeed fated. Music could be very symbolic. This is also Wheel of Fortune energy. So it feels like, maybe the wheels stopped turning. Maybe you were stuck in a cycle with this person and the wheels stopped turning so that both of you could make adjustments. And again, you could be dealing with someone quite stubborn with that flexible card. But let's see what comes out. This feels unfinished. So this could have been a connection that came to an end, a connection that, with that orphaned card, you could have felt quite rejected because of this situation, because of this cycle. And maybe, it was meant to help you overcome that feeling of rejection or fear of abandonment. And I always say, if you have an inner knowing that something is unfinished or something feels unfinished, that's usually because it is. There's still something left to unfold, is what I'm hearing. So let's see what advice you need about this situation. I want to say situation. Let's see what advice you need about this fated connection. So what advice do you need about this fated connection? I can't tell you how weird, like, it's not weird. I had a download about this card before I started this reading. When I grabbed this deck, I saw that card. And this card talks about, putting down to earth steps towards, I think I'm saying that right, down to earth steps towards something. And we have between worlds. So this card talks about, don't take this, if you're in separation with your person, like it says between worlds here, so it feels like you're right in the middle here. You're stepping out of the darkness towards something more positive. And this card says don't take this time for granted. Don't wish it away. There's a reason it's happening. And this Imagine card, it's judgment energy. And it feels like there's about to be down to earth steps taken towards this connection. And I'm also feeling called to the fact that we have two blue flames here. Interesting. So there is something on this card about new love as well. If you are wanting new love, it's time to stop wishing for it and take down to earth steps towards new love. But with the other energy that's coming through, I'm going to be honest, I'm not feeling new love. I feel that you have some sort of unfinished connection where you're in separation. And again, this card talks about action towards that connection. And I'm not telling you to take action towards this person. I almost feel like this person is about to take action towards you and reveal some sort of truth, and there's about to be a conversation where you need to let go of rigidity. I just wanna peek at the book here because I feel like there's something I'm missing. I just opened up to Unfinished Symphony and Faded. Oh my goodness. Turning imagination into manifestation, creative thought, visualization, the power of aligning imagery and feelings. So I would say be careful what you are imagining right now. If you are imagining the worst, I would try to change that narrative. And if you are in that, very stubborn, how can I put that? Like your ego could be being triggered right now. I also feel if you are someone who does experience feelings of rejection or has a fear of abandonment or patterns or wounds surrounding that, Spirit's telling you it's time to take action towards those wounds and patterns and start prioritizing yourself and putting yourself first. And I'm hearing exploring self-love. So this card talks about step onto the dance floor where imagination partners with manifestation. So I would really be believing in your manifestations right now and try to change the narrative of negative thoughts. Like if you are having, it reminds me of a reading I did yesterday where like if you were assuming the worst and fearing the worst and imagining the worst, I know that can become overpowering and overwhelming. And there's something about, when you're feeling like that, you're almost manifesting that in. You're manifesting the worst in. So I'm hearing, if you find yourself in a round and round cycle of negative thoughts, try to change that narrative. And you need to replace it with more positive thoughts, and that's easier said than done. It's almost like a muscle, you need to work it. So every time, fear pops into your head, try to replace it with a positive thought and a positive affirmation is what I'm hearing. This card also says that you'll be changed for the better. Like this connection was meant to change you for the better. So you were meant to learn from this connection. But I am hearing there's about to be action is what I'm hearing. There's about to be, like I said, a conversation is what I'm hearing. But let's keep going. Right now you're between worlds. and I'll just read the one line on that card that I'm hearing. And it is, it feels like you're about to, this is number 3. So it feels like you're being called to step into like divine feminine energy and really attract like work on your garden so that you can attract the butterflies and bees that belong in that garden. There's a message about not chasing but attracting. So it says this is not a moment for certainty, but rather for discovery. So I would start, taking down to earth steps, discovering yourself, soul searching. And it says this relationship is meant to educate you about yourself. What do you need? What do you like or dislike? What values are important for you? This is a critical phase that should not be dismissed or hurried. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Like I said, I have a few decks that I want to get you for advice. I'm really feeling called to those 2 blue flames right there. There's the flexible card again. So there is something about like maybe your rigidity is keeping you in a state of opposition. Maybe I'm struggling to find the words for that. Like maybe you're holding on to resentment, or you're holding on to grudges, or you're holding on to negativity, and that can block the connection. And I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying it's your fault. But it's almost like Spirit's telling you to try and release, like take steps to release that negativity. And I'm filming this on the full moon. And in that reading I did yesterday, I talked about how the full moon is an excellent time to release those things. And the way you can do that is by journaling and writing it all down. Write down what you want to release. If you feel resentment, if you feel anger, if you feel abandoned, if you feel rejected, write down all of those feelings that you want to release, and then release it to the moon, release it to the divine. So we have Thinker 44. I'm not as familiar with this card. So this card is about not forcing something to work. So allowing for, that wheel, remember the Wheel of Fortune, allowing for events to unfold naturally. You could be deep in thought about this connection right now. There could be a lot of overthinking. And this is also about, if you remember, I said this card also talked about new love. So if you're on the fence if you feel like something's unfinished with a past person and you're sitting on the fence with, I don't know if I want them back or if I want new. This card is talking about, look at the paper. So there's something about writing down your thoughts and figuring out what you actually want for your future. And if it's not that past person, then it's time to release them. If you want new love, it's time to take steps towards that. I always say, and I've been there, I know it's hard, but if you're not sure what you want, if you're sitting on that fence and you don't know if you want past love or new love, it can be sending mixed signals to the universe. They don't know what to send you. So anyway, there is something here about really thinking about your future, what you want, and getting clear about what you want. And it says, don't force this to work. So if you really don't feel like that past connection can work, if you feel in your heart of hearts that it's not for you, it's time to release it. There's also a message that you cannot force things to happen. You kind of have to sit in that energy of in between and allow things to unfold naturally. All right, let's get another one. I feel like with this one, you're deep in thought about this right now. Yeah, I knew it. There's the clean it up card, and that's exactly what I was feeling. It feels like if you allow things to unfold naturally, I feel like whoever this person is with the unfinished symphony, I feel like if you allow for this very critical time on this journey to unfold naturally and you don't force it, that there will be down-to-earth action taken. And the clean it up card, world card energy, does talk about two people coming together. And think of the flexible card. So instead of, being in that very defensive, it's all their fault kind of energy, the clean it up card talks about two people coming together and taking accountability for what they can take accountability for. And by the book, I believe by the book, I'll read it, but you know what? I'm just going to read it. I'm just going to read it to you. So I'm going to read by the book first. I'm getting the energy of someone who's very confused. I'm getting the energy of someone who's very confused. So this one, again, you could be, I keep thinking about that flexible card because I saw it twice. It was 19, which is masculine energy. It has to do with the sun, and I'm hearing ego. So your ego could be, telling you things about this person, or you could have that ego towards them or that resentment towards them. And one of the things this card talks about is understanding and respecting who you are and who this person is and who they have become as a result of their environment, culture, and experience. So just like you have an experience and an upbringing that maybe brings up, wounds of abandonment, because we saw that orphaned card, this person you're connected to, whatever happened within this connection that kept you in this cycle, I feel like it's also a result of their experience and their upbringing and their conditioning. And I think nowadays I see it a lot online, people being villainized for some of their behaviors that, are learned behaviors from childhood. So both of these cards are talking about coming to some sort of compromise and finding the middle ground. And that's exactly what I was feeling with this card, is that if you let it unfold naturally, I feel like this is unfinished and there will be a conversation where you're being asked to let go of those resentments and that defensiveness towards this person. And I don't think it's just you. I think this person needs to do that as well. This person probably has some sort of guard up or was very defensive as well. There could have been like a clash of egos here. But this one talks about finding the middle ground that allows you and this person and the relationship to flourish while honoring the individuality of the other person. Play things by the book, as in let things unfold naturally, instead of trying to pressure others to conform to the way you want them to do things. So again, you could have had, and again, not blaming you, but I'm hearing clash of egos. So both of you could have wanted to do things your way. Sometimes, and I've struggled with this, when you have that fear of uncertainty, fear of abandonment, you want, it does create this sense of wanting to control things. And Spirit's saying, just let this unfold naturally. Your connection will deepen as a result. I hope that's making sense, and I hope I'm not triggering you. So, clean it up, getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. Time to clear the air, take a look at your side of the street, and say what's on your mind. So it definitely feels, like I said, there's a conversation coming. I feel like there's definitely a conversation coming. And if you've waited for this conversation for a while, and this person lets down their wall and comes towards you, and you react from a defensive, wounded place, it could delay this. It could put you back into that roundabout, is what I'm hearing. I'm not saying you have to be all, pretend like everything's okay and this connection didn't hurt you. That's not what I'm saying. I hope you're not misunderstanding me. But I feel like if you come at this from a place of ego, and your person comes at this from a place of ego, I think it's just going to stick you back in that roundabout, in that cycle of repeat. Sweep away the old stuff so that a spring breeze can flow through with new energy. It's the perfect time to do an inventory of your dynamic and see what's yours and not yours to clean up in the relationship. Everyone brings some baggage. So again, this card, these came out together. And this, if you look at this, and I just have to tell you, this is very interesting to me because you see the elephants. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, how people look at this little baby elephant. This little baby elephant, it reminds me of how we are who we are because of the influence and how we were raised by our parents, and that we carry that with us. And as much as I'm thinking about a show I recently watched where it's called Adolescence, and the father was having a really deep conversation with his wife about how he grew up as a child. And he grew up with a very abusive father physically. And he said, I swore I would never do that to my kids. And even though he never did that to his kids, he was also still his father in a way, and was quite angry and reactive and yelled and took his aggression out on, they talked about a scene where he tore down a shed. So while he didn't do it to his children, he still carried aspects of his father into his experience as a father. Like that was still there. I hope I'm making sense. That's what I mean about how this card is talking about how everyone brings baggage. So you have baggage, they have baggage, and understanding that both of you are who you are because of your experience is important here. And that maybe, instead of having resentment towards this person for abandoning you, maybe again, this connection is faded. It was meant to teach you something about yourself. So instead of having resentment for them abandoning you, maybe look at the core of that wound and where it comes from, and understand that this person was triggering something deeper within you. I hope that makes sense. Just like I feel you triggered something deeper within this person. I hope that makes sense. And we do carry trauma through, it's passed down from generation to generation. And this morning, I grew up in a very volatile household. And one of my trauma responses, and I've told you this if you've been here a moment, is my safe space was the bathroom. So whenever there was conflict in my house or I needed to feel safe, I would retreat to the bathroom. It had a lock on the door, and I would lay on the bathroom floor. And even now, even through my healing, during my first dark night of the soul, I spent a lot of time on my bathroom floor. Last weekend, I felt triggered. The first place I went to was my bathroom floor. I'm getting to my point. My point is that this is passed down through generation to generation. So that was my experience as a kid. My safe spot was the bathroom floor. This morning, when I went downstairs, I was in the kitchen and I noticed that the bathroom light was on the main level bathroom. And I opened the door. And even though my child has never experienced, and I'm tearing up a little, even though my child has never experienced trauma, because I started healing myself when they were quite young. So because I felt kind of my dad coming out in me, and I thought, this is not what I want for my children. I felt him bubbling up inside of me. And that's when my healing journey started. Even though my child has never experienced that type of trauma, this morning I noticed the bathroom light was on, opened the door, and one of my children was curled up on the bathroom floor with a blanket. And last night, they had watched a scary show that had upset them, and I feel like in the middle of the night, they were having a hard time sleeping. They're almost 13, and they were having a hard time sleeping. So they instinctively went to the bathroom with a blanket and laid on the bathroom floor. And it just, to me, it's a representation of how trauma is passed through generation to generation, because that's my trauma response. And I've never told them that's my trauma response. They've never seen me lay on the bathroom floor. But when they were feeling scared, that's where they went. They went to the bathroom and laid on the floor with a blanket. Like, that's what I mean about how trauma is passed down. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Sort through what you brought with you and let it go, and let go of what is no longer needed. Become unencumbered and your relationship will flourish. And that's what I mean when we're wounded. We often point fingers, and I'm not saying your person didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying that your person didn't point fingers at you. Please don't misunderstand me, but I'm here for you. I'm here for advice for you. I'm not giving them advice. I'm giving you advice. It's so common for us to project outwards and blame external circumstances. And I always, hear it's their fault, it's not my fault, it's their fault. But I always say it's never just one person's fault. I feel like both of you, this was a fated connection so that you could grow individually into better, more healed versions of yourself. And again, this card is about that flexible card, letting go of rigidity, letting go of the ego, the stories your ego tells you, looking within and taking responsibility for maybe the things on your side of the street. I hope that makes sense. And again, if you truly do not want this person, then release them. Anyway, I hope that made sense. This is a heavy one. Oh, this is a heavy one. All right. So now I'm going to get another deck to just see. I just kind of want to see you and your person really quick to see the energy here, because like I said, this is connected to someone else who it's a fated connection. So we have detach, release. This is a justice card. But again, letting go of control will free you. Detaching from that ego, from that resentment will free you. We have just breathe, Four of Swords. So detach and just breathe. It definitely feels like there's a situation. Just breathe. This card reminds me of connecting to your higher self. Okay. That was a big old sigh. That's the first time I laughed, I think, in 30 minutes. All right. I just saw the Hierophant. So what was this connection meant to teach you about yourself is what I'm hearing. So I'm just going to see your energies. Spirit, you're funny. And we have balance. So temperance, being patient, trusting in the process, allowing in divine timing, balancing your feminine and masculine energies. And look at that. Letting go of self-sabotaging behavior. This card is about making amends, and it is about reconciliation. 5 of Swords in reverse. So again, it's not about who's the winner, who's the loser. This says win or lose. That is distorted energy. That energy of it's all their fault. That's distorted energy. And again, this card is about reconciliation. It's about coming together. So detaching from all of those things I was talking about, having patience, trusting in divine timing. I just want to look at the Temperance card for you. And again, a full moon, perfect time. It's the perfect time to, oh my gosh, Spirit, I love Spirit so much. So before I went to Temperance, I opened up to detach. And listen to this, because this is exactly what I was talking about. Sometimes our ego prevents us from seeing events clearly. And that's what I was hearing, clash of the ego, or clash of two egos. So I feel like that 5 of Swords, when you're that ego, our ego tries to keep us safe, but it also is the master of self-sabotage. When we ignore our shadows, when we ignore the things we need to heal, our shadows become the master of self-sabotage. So it's time to release that ego. What role do you play in harmony or disharmony within the connection? Exactly, the Clean It Up card. An honest appraisal is required in order to gain clarity and help you better understand what might need to be done to improve it. It's important to accept that your previous actions, decisions, and beliefs, and your upbringing and your experiences have led you to your current situation, whether it's pleasant or difficult. We do steer the course of our lives, although often without conscious intent. By assessing your situation and accepting responsibility for it, you're able to free yourself from the need to blame another person. My goodness. Or destiny. There's no guilt associated with this card, only clarity and empowerment. And that's what I meant. I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. You don't have any right to feel, you don't have any need to feel guilty, because this is a product of your upbringing and programming. It's not your fault. And the Justice card does talk about blaming others. The shadow attributes talks about blaming others unfairly. So that's another thing. Like if this person blamed you unfairly and you took that on, you need to look at it from a different perspective, that this person was projecting. That they were projecting their wounds onto you. I'm not saying it was right. That is powerful. Based on everything I was channeling, that is powerful. Remember, the Detached card knows no ego. Decisions arrived at a result of drawing this card must be fair and balanced for everyone involved. Compromise, meeting in the middle. Exactly. So if you're stuck in a cycle of resentment and anger towards this person, it really is time to take down to earth steps to release that. And again, I feel like I may be triggering some people with this reading. I'm not saying what they did to you is okay. I'm not making excuses for them. Like I said, I'm here to give you advice. I'm not here giving your person advice. They're not here for that. You're here for that. That's why so many of my readings are centered around you and advice for you. And it's not about blaming you. It's not about excusing their behavior. But that's kind of the nature of what this is. You're the one here watching this. So there is a need to detach from ego, to let go of that rigidity, that stubbornness, that resentment. And I'm seeing that soulmate card. The question is not, why did they do this to me? The question is, what is it teaching me? What wound is it triggering within me? And how can I heal that wound? And the Temperance card is about compromise. Take some time in peaceful solitude, thinker. Where was I? To renew your acquaintance with yourself. Acknowledge what you bring to the relationship and what your partner brings to the relationship. Ensure that both play an equal role and no one person dominates. Compromise is required in order for a relationship to be harmonious. Find the middle ground. You'll help ensure that your needs and the needs of this person are met. Oh my gosh, this is crazy pants. Compromise also includes accepting that people are individuals with different personalities and experiences and ways at looking at the world, just like this card said. If you find yourself at odds, so clash of the ego, be willing to work through issues honestly and with love, confident that your differences can be resolved. This is an excellent time to help heal discordant relationships by bringing them into better balance. That's powerful. So let's just look at you really quickly, your energy. So show me the viewer's energy. You got 2. We have 19. That flexible card kept coming out. And I mentioned ego, so you could be struggling with some ego right now or some resentment. And we have manifest. And what did I say about this card? Be clear about what you're manifesting here. If you are trying to manifest something and you're full of ego and resentment and you're convinced the cycle will just repeat, you're calling in that cycle to repeat again. And if you come at it from the same way, with that ego, it's going to repeat again. The cycle will repeat again. I feel like, this card also can be symbolic of, look at the imagery that I'm picking up on. We have 2 blue flames here. This one, we have 2 blue flames. And I recently heard Esoteric describe the Magician as a card that does talk about a strong soul connection. So be careful what you are putting out there. Be careful what you're manifesting. Like I said, positive intentions, positive thinking, easier said than done, I know. But it does look like you're trying to manifest something here. And we have, I wish I had paid attention how that, it came out crossing. So we do have the 3 of Swords, sadness and isolation, separation. 3 of Swords can talk about pain, resentment. And I picked it up in reverse. So it's like Spirit's telling you it's time to release those feelings. Release it to the moon. This one is about making amends and forgiveness. So I feel like that's what you're manifesting. You're manifesting another card of reconciliation. You're manifesting it. But if you are still full of feelings of pain and resentment, you could be manifesting in the same cycle. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So, the Three of Swords, you're being reminded that no matter how much pain you are feeling, you have control over the meaning you give to an experience. Be careful not to push your loved one away just because you may be feeling tense and irritable and resentful. That's it in the upright. The Three of Swords in reverse, which is how I picked it up, the heartache subsides. You have experienced a painful situation which is already coming to an end. Three of Swords in reverse can also indicate that negative self-talk and limiting beliefs are at the heart of your suffering. And again, Three of Swords in reverse is about healing, forgiveness, recovery, reconciliation, letting go of a painful experience you may be holding on to. Forgiveness is not easy, but this card signifies an opportunity to fully feel and acknowledge your feelings, sit with the discomfort, and then release it. This is so powerful. This is very powerful. Very powerful. I just want to see if there's anything you need to know from that manifestation card. This is a time of great power for you. The Manifest card is here to tell you that anything is possible. You have all the tools at your disposal to create whatever you desire. The ability to love unconditionally, to support, to cherish, to listen, to understand, to forgive, to be kind, to be joyful, even silly. All of these are useful tools in managing affairs of the heart. Take some time to determine what your best tools are so that you can use them to work your own unique brand of magic around relationships. Before using these tools to manifest your desire, take some time to be clear on exactly what you want. What was I saying with that card? You have the ability to manifest what you desire now, so take a moment so that there's total clarity. What do you truly need and want? Is it in your highest good? Is it in the highest good of the other person? Magic and manifestation are powerful. When you come from a place of love, you will generate love. When you come from a place of fear, you will generate fear. Be clear, be honest in your intent, and take action to manifest your heart's desires. You have what it takes to achieve this. That could not be clearer. I'm glad Spirit confirmed what I was channeling up there. All right. So let's look at your person's energy. Show me their person's energy. Solar plexus. And spread your wings. Two of Wands. Seek the truth on the bottom. So your person is seeing their own truth. Your person is seeing their own truth about the things they did. Perhaps specifically around the Seven of Swords energy. Look, they're seeking the truth right now. There could be a confession coming. This person is getting ready to leave their comfort zone. Two of Wands. They're at a crossroads here. And they're getting ready to make a move. And Spirit's telling you, be clear about what you're manifesting. And remember, if this person comes back towards you and you're still holding on to all that anger and resentment, the cycle will repeat. But this person is seeing the truth of themselves. They're seeing through that veil, that programming, that conditioning I was talking about. They're no longer running, is what I'm hearing from their own shadows. Oh my gosh. When I put down that deck, this was left in my hand from the top. 3 of Wands, take the lead. That's exactly, yes. Getting ready to leave their comfort zone and take the lead and take action. 3 of Wands. And come towards you. This person is progressing. They are growing. 2 of Wands for me. Usually you see a globe on the 2 of Wands. And to me, this person is starting to see the truth of their own patterns and behaviors. And this clean it up card is saying there's a compromise coming where this person is going to take accountability for their stuff. All right. So the solar plexus card is also, let me just read that. The solar plexus card, I can. Your person is in the energy, I can do this. I can take the lead. I can admit my faults. I can admit my patterns. I can do this. I don't know why I'm slurring. This chakra relates to emotions, desires, creativity, and sexuality. So sexuality could also be something here. All right, we're going to get tarot. Let me make sure you can see all those. You can, perfect. We're going to get tarot. I pulled out a deck I haven't used in a long time. And interestingly enough, we have the King of Wands on the bottom, which is someone taking control, someone taking the lead. Movement. Could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And we have the Fool, a leap of faith. And it reminds me of this card right here. 8 of Wands. I cannot make this up. Forward movement, communication. Oh my gosh. Listen, there's something about this. These cards, the first 2 times I tried to shuffle them, I know you probably can't see it, but they weren't bridging. They weren't coming together. So there's something about coming together, finding middle ground, and compromising. And again, if you're still full of resentment, there's a cycle that could repeat here. Like you could push this person away is what I'm hearing. And I feel, in my heart of hearts, I feel like this person is coming in to take accountability. So my advice for you, don't respond from a triggered place. Don't respond from an emotional heightened place. If what this person says triggers you, say, I'm feeling a little bit triggered. I need some time to reflect before I respond. We have the Lovers. Fated connection. I'm just thinking of that fated card. Divine connection. Spiritual connection. And the Lovers. I've heard another reader say this many times, that a lot of people come into contact with Lovers energy, and it's about more than your connection with that person. It's about your connection with yourself. It's about self-love. It's about learning about yourself. And that's why so many people push Lovers energy away, because it's not easy. It's challenging. Gemini energy. And we have 6 of Swords, which talks about transitioning into calmer waters. And there's 2 people in that boat. It talks about reconnecting after a disconnect. All right. So, where do I begin? We have the Empress. What did I say about you're about to step in, like you're meant to be stepping into Empress energy? I don't chase, I attract. Divine feminine energy. You could be a divine feminine. 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. King of Cups. All right, focus on 9 of Cups. Focus on keeping a positive mindset is what I'm hearing. I just want to look at that. So right now, focus on Empress energy. Focus on nurturing yourself. Focus on grounding yourself. 9 of Cups. Focus on things that bring you happiness, make you feel fulfilled rather than, overthinking and sitting in negativity. And just, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. If you are someone full of that negativity, I would take a break from watching love readings. Like if you find love readings are causing you to be upset, I would take a break from them. 9 of Cups. Positivity leading to romance. 9 of Cups. All right, so Taurus and Libra on the bottom. And we've got the King of Cups, so clearly there's love here. So first I'm going to see what Spirit wants you to know about this connection. What does Spirit want you to know about this connection? And then we'll look at your person. The Lovers. Hanged Man. Unfinished Symphony. Surrender to this. Surrender to it is what I'm hearing. Surrender to what's happening here. Surrender that resentment. Try to have a new perspective about this. Make a choice if you want to let go, Be clear about your manifestations. This definitely feels, like a powerful connection, a soul connection. The Lovers. I'm also hearing this connection is protected because there's like this energetic bubble around these two people. And I feel like this was a connection meant to mirror back to you, both of you, things that you need to work on. And focus on self-love is what I'm hearing. Wow. All right, let's get one more card for what you need to know about this connection. We have the Queen of Swords and the Page of Cups. So there is an energy here. Of course, know your worth, respect your boundaries. But there's something about, like, if this person comes in and you are, like, cold and defensive, this person could be younger than you. I'm hearing a few things, okay? I feel like this person may have triggered some things that happened to you as a child with the Page of Cups. But I just feel if this person comes in wanting to make amends, wanting to take accountability, and you give them the sword before they even have the chance, it's going to make a cycle repeat here. I feel like this person is going to be showing you a new perspective of themselves. And there's an energy here of being more open, Page of Cups, than guarded. And again, I know this is going to be a hard reading for some of you to hear. I can remember when I heard a reading like this about myself, and I was quite defensive about it. But I needed to hear it. And again, you could have met, like when you were dealing with this person in the past, remember King of Cups on the bottom. So when you were dealing with this person where you needed to be this Queen of Swords, they could have been quite immature and not like emotionally immature. They could have been emotionally immature. And maybe you needed to embody that Queen of Swords. But I feel like they're coming in as the King of Cups now. And only you know, like, I can't tell you what to do. Listen, This one talks about inner child. I definitely feel like this person triggered some things around your inner child wounding, and I feel like you triggered things about their inner child wounding. And the Queen of Swords, the shadow attributes, I'm being called to look at that. The shadow attributes of the Queen of Swords, I feel like this connection, you were both meant to trigger childhood wounds. You were both meant to trigger past wounds, the shadow attributes of the Queen of Swords, to cause or to initiate introspection and healing. So this connection, again, was meant to help you go, both of you, but go into introspection and healing from these past wounds that stem from, possibly childhood. All right, let's see this person. Let's take a good look at this person. Show me their person, the person they're connected to. That one fell in my lap. We have the 9 of Coins. That's amazing. So your person has been elevating. Your person has been working on themselves. They've been, improving themselves, stabilizing in their energy. Knight of Coins, they've been slow to do it. I also feel like this person could be younger than you or just act younger than you. And, maybe your person is also very independent. But that's a really good energy. It's, that's a stable energy. They're in quite stable energy right now. Let's get one more. Hanged Man, gaining new perspective. 4 of Cups, clarity and awareness. 4 of Cups in reverse, clarity and awareness. So they do have new perspectives about this. And 4 of Cups in reverse is about them. They're ready to be more active in this connection, more active in love. I feel like you're going to see a new perspective of this person if you hear them out, if you allow things to unfold naturally. Yes, 4 of Cups in reverse, clarity, awareness, acceptance, choosing happiness, new understanding of love, your person. Let's see how they feel about you. How do they feel about you? We have the Sun and the 10 of Swords. Lessons learned, healing, reconciliation. You had reconciliation in 3 different decks. Wanting to put a connection back together. This person has learned an important lesson here. The Sun, for how they feel about you, you're their happiness. 4 of Cups in reverse, choosing happiness. They're ready to choose their happiness. They know they need to bring clarity to this. Are you kidding me? 7 of Swords in reverse. They're ready to stop running. They're ready to get something off their chest. They're ready to bring clarity to this. They're ready to make amends for their wrongdoing. That's really nice. They feel like you're their happiness. And again, you could have triggered this person's ego just like they triggered yours. Let's look at their intentions. Seven of Cups in reverse, clarity and awareness. Very similar to the Four of Cups in reverse. What is happening here? We've got the 5 of Swords in reverse, making amends. Intentions. Reconciliation. Remember, we saw that in that green deck I was using, 5 of Swords in reverse. You know what's interesting? 7-7. that 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 freaking card is on page 77. And one of the energies I get from that card is 7 of Cups in reverse. That's really interesting to me. Anyway, you could have resonated with that reading I did the other day. I can't remember which reading it was, but that card came out and the 7-7 thing was symbolic, and now we have 7-7 here. All right, let's look at what action this person is going to take. That fell on the floor. Emperor. The Devil in reverse. Oh my gosh, be more self-aware. King of Cups. There you go. The Magician. There you go for actions. That's amazing. So the Magician. Communication. Making something happen. This is actions. King of Cups. Someone using their head and heart. Someone coming in very emotionally intelligent, emotionally stable, emotionally mature, with an offer of love. The Emperor taking the lead, stepping up. I just heard fighting for what they want. Divine masculine energy. And on the bottom of the deck, we had the Empress, and we have the Lovers. So embody that Empress. The Empress isn't sitting around in negativity. That's wounded energy. The Empress isn't, holding on to resentment. That may be triggering for some of you to hear. All right. What is your advice when this action comes in? What is your advice when this action comes in? What is your advice when this action comes in? We have the Four of Swords. So like I said, if you are feeling triggered, withdraw. If you're feeling triggered, if you are feeling upset, say, I need time before I respond to you. And take some quiet to reflect about what's happening before you react. We have the Knight of Cups. So listen to your intuition. Take a moment to really reflect and listen to your intuition, is what I'm hearing. Let me just look at the Knight of Cups for you. Be diplomatic. Don't have unrealistic expectations of love, Knight of Cups. Don't have unrealistic expectations. And again, if you're feeling triggered, if you're feeling like your emotions, if you're feeling emotionally heightened, or you're feeling like a little bit of stress or moodiness, Spirit's saying, take a step back and reflect before you respond. All right? That's your advice here. Oh, look at this. The Knight of Cups can also serve as a reminder to be vulnerable and to express your love. It can be scary to bare your soul. This bravery will allow for greater intimacy and connection. But don't do it from a triggered place. Do it from a centered place. So if you need to, withdraw, take a break, take a pause, so that you can express yourself vulnerably without reaction, is what I'm hearing. And we've got the Hierophant. So I'm hearing, remember all the spiritual growth you've done too with the Hierophant. Let me see if the Hierophant has any advice for you. The Hierophant is actually reminding me of this card that talks about, don't make this person conform. Whatever this card said is reminding me of the Hierophant. So allow things to unfold naturally. If you are feeling emotionally triggered, again, retreat, return to center, maybe do something spiritual like meditation that helps you feel better. I just want to get you all the advice I can. You also have wisdom to offer the Hierophant regarding matters of the heart. This wisdom has been gained through all your joys and sorrow. So again, use this wisdom that you've been working on to your advantage. And you could even help this person, is what I'm hearing. There may be an opportunity to assist someone regarding a relationship. So if you remain, you could even be open and vulnerable with this person about some of the things you've learned on your spiritual journey that have helped you. But again, if you're feeling triggered, withdraw and recenter. And the Four of Swords, you can't pressure this person is what I'm hearing. If you pressure them, it could, repeat that cycle. So try not to pressure them to conform is what I'm hearing. All right, let's look at the future of this connection. What is the future of this connection? We have the Fountain, which is absolutely beautiful. The Fountain is about creation. It's about new life. Motorcycle could be symbolic. I don't know if you guys heard that. We have the World. Completion. A fulfilling romantic connection. Whoa, you're naked. The YouTube gods are not going to like that. So, this is there's motorcycles going by my house. Can you hear that? And we have the Four of Cups in reverse. So clarity, awareness, being more active in love, new understanding of love, completion, the Fountain of creation, new life, abundance, harmony, completion of that cycle that you've been stuck in. All right. So I'm just going to get you a few cards of advice. I want to get you one of these. It's a new animal deck that Suzanne sent me. And I just want to see what animal you need advice from today. We have the honeybee. Honeybees could be symbolic to you. We also have the barn owl. Listen for spirit. And the owl, trust your inner knowing, trust your intuition. We have the cow and bull, love it. Tauruses, appreciate the process. All right, so what advice do you need? What animal do you need advice from? What animal? Do you need advice from? That motorcycle is giving me chariot energy. All right, so what animal do you need advice from? What animal do you need advice from? We have the red salmon on the bottom. We have sync with the cycles and the moon. I love it. I love it. Black bear. Oh, there's a swan there. Let me cover that up now. Black bear, sync with the cycles. I'll return that swan to its mate. So, black bear. On a half moon night, watching black bear stretch up on her hind legs to climb your back fence, you might think for a moment that you have a very human burglar about to break in. Like us humans, black bears can stand tall, a conduit between earth and sky. Because of this, she is seen as our mirror self, our wild sister tapped into healing, wisdom, and lush instinct. Black Bear connects deeply with the part of your psyche that longs to burrow under the blankets for the entirety of winter and emerge blinking into the light with new projects clinging to your skirt like cubs. Don't fight the cycles and seasons. Black Bear teaches, call on her to rediscover your rhythm and remember you're wild. And again, I mentioned the full moon. So what can you release tonight with the full moon? I want to get you a moon card now. So let's get you a moon card. Surrender to the divine. Full moon. No way. I mean, yes way. So what can you surrender to the divine tonight? And what is your advice about this connection? Meditate before reacting. So what is your advice about this connection? Don't let pride get in your way. Could that be any more fitting? You know what I was watching last night? I watched Blossom for the first time in I don't know how long. My kids wanted to watch this scary show, and I don't like scary shows, but I love my children. And I said, all right, I'll watch one episode with you, some scary Korean show. And after, I had to cleanse my soul. I had to cleanse my soul. Anyway, I needed to watch something that wasn't that. So, and Netflix, I was going to stick on The Office, but why am I telling you this? I don't know. I was going to stick on The Office, but Netflix wasn't working. So I went on to Disney and I noticed that Blossom was on there. So I started watching Blossom. I don't know why that makes me laugh. Full moon. This is another full moon card. Don't let pride get in your way. Everyone is equally important. Have you been letting your pride become an obstacle? Is the question you're asking. Sorry, I should show you the card. Yes, this is so, yes. Bring love into the situation. Don't let pride get in your way. Leo energy is all about the heart. Its energy is magnificent, but when combined with the rush of the full moon, it can become over the top. This card may have come to you because you need to end a deadlock that has developed. More love and thoughts for the greater good are the solution to your dilemma. And it's on page 77. If you've not been doing as you would be done by lately, this is the time to find a balance between your own needs and the needs of others around you. This will help all of your relationships. And we have bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. New moon in Aquarius. I just have to find it. Yeah, it's the other way. So, you need to be more detached from the situation. Thinking outside the box will bring solution. Change is on its way and it could come quickly. Whether you get the change you want depends on whether you believe you can have it and how much you're relying on others to bring it to you. This card comes with the suggestion that you may need to do things independently on your own, but be loving. Time is of the essence when this card comes up. Aquarius energy has an electric feel to it. Certainly there is a sense that you need to let go of the past. So what are you holding on to? And we'll just get one more, but I think that was really fitting. A new romantic cycle begins. And I'm also going to look at, maybe it's in the beginning. It is. Surrender to the divine. A wish you made is about to come true. You may need to forgive someone to release negative energy. Release it to the moon tonight. Something is about to come to a head, a point, a turning point. There may be some sort of change. Tune into your emotions now to see what they're telling you. They're very likely close to the surface, no matter when in the moon cycle you've pulled this card. So, matters will soon conclude and you'll find out whether or not your wishes are going to come true. The odds are in your favor, as this is a positive card, but you might need to work harder than usual to keep cool as events unfold. So again, if you're feeling emotional, retreat. Don't react from an emotionally triggered place. And we have new moon in Libra, which I think this full moon is in Libra. This one talks about someone reaching out and letting them know you care, or someone letting the other person know they care. Feel more, think less. Think less. Marriage or engagement is on the cards. Listen to this. Give and take could well be the answer to whatever dilemma you're asking about. Compromise is called for. So there's a compromise coming. There's a restart for you and someone else. Anything you do after pulling this card, doing it in pairs is advised. Libra is the sign of relating, and this card suggests that whoever is at the heart of the issue you're addressing is someone who will be open to talking things through. Avoid being selfish. It won't get you anywhere at this time. Again, that message is very clear. And let's see what you need to surrender. What do you need to surrender? What do you need to surrender? We'll just get a few. What do you need to surrender? What do you need to surrender? What do you need to surrender? One more. Surrender to receiving. I dropped one on the ground. Surrender to receiving support and love. Allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. Surrender unhealthy relationships. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and surrounded by positive people. Surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship. Or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. Surrender your belief in scarcity. The universe is asking you to be open to infinite nature and abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. And surrender to complete healing. And I feel like I have to sneeze. Blessings are on their way. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. So, my friends, I am sending you lots of love and light. Do that release work tonight if you feel called to with the moon. And again, sending you lots of love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.